We all have guitar heroes. We all have, people that we look up to in the music business. When I Googled the name of Steve Lynch, it says the two-handed guitarist. Steve, from the band Autograph. What does that mean? What does a two-handed guitarist mean?
It just means I have two hands.
I was going to ask, doesn't every guitarist play with two hands?
Oh, that's right, they do. Yeah, okay. No, it's because I started playing back in 1978 when I was going to the Guitar Institute of Technology. I started playing with two hands on the fingerboard. A lot of people look at Eddie Van Halen as being one of the first to do that, which he was. But the history goes way back to even back into the 30s, where Johnny Smith was doing it and playing jazz and stuff, and then Harvey Mandel. Harvey Mandel back in 1970 kind of inspired me to get into that. And then I saw Emmett Chapman, who's inventor of the instrument. It's called the Chapman stick, where you play it with both hands on the fingerboard, and you're tapping notes, certain strings with your left hand and certain strings with your right hand. And he was at a clinic there at the early part when I first started going to the Guitar Institute in like the beginning of 1978, and I just fell in love with that technique, and I asked him, he showed me a couple of things. And so since I was already into that technique anyway, I started writing down all the different things that I was learning from the Guitar Institute, like the arpeggios, triads, all the different scales, pentatonics, everything. I started writing it out for two hands. And by the end of the year, I had easily like a couple of books written on it. And I got a publishing deal right away and put that book out, and it sold like crazy. So when I graduated in 1979, it was a great experience. And I got my book published right away, and it did very well.
Well, I posted on Facebook that I was going to be interviewing you, and Randy Erickson from the La Crosse Tribune, who interviewed you a couple of weeks ago, posted a question on here. He says, ask Steve what it was like to be in the studio with La Crosse's Jeff Cozy back in the 70s when Steve was at the Guitar Institute in L.A.
Yeah, Jeff just left me a message, and that was so cool. We were playing in a group called The Word, and some really cool music. Jeff had some really cool stuff, and I'm hoping to see him this weekend, this Friday, actually. So that would be really cool to see Jeff, because I haven't seen him for probably, let's give a stretch here of maybe 38 years.
So do you remember Jeff Cozy?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Great guy.
Actually, the first time that I ever saw him, I thought he reminded me of Paul McCartney.
Well, he looks, back in the day, this was like, we're talking 1980, he looked exactly like Paul McCartney. So, yeah, I mean, I was like, whoa, the same haircut, the same eyes and everything. And I went, whoa, you're like a dead ringer from Paul McCartney, so that was funny.
Right on. So your band's called Autograph. Why the name Autograph?
Well, we were actually on our way from Jacksonville, Florida to, or from LA to Jacksonville, Florida to play our first gig with Van Halen, opening up for Van Halen. And that was, in early January 1984, and we didn't have a name for the band yet, because we were just guys who got together and jammed. We were all playing in different bands. Like I was playing in a group with the keyboard player from Autograph named Paulie Penfield on Dreamland Records. Kenny was playing with a group called The Coup on A&M, the drummer, and Randy Rand, our bass player, was playing with Lita Ford, and the singer was playing on Columbia Records with Silver Condor. So we all had record deals, and we were all playing and recording, but we got together on the weekends to just jam, and then we did a demo with Andy Johns in the studio. David Lee Roth heard it through our drummer, and next thing you know, David Lee Roth asked us to go out on the tour, and we had finished recording and doing all the tour things that we were doing with our bands that we were in currently, and so we just said, let's do it. We got together the money, and we drove from Los Angeles to Jacksonville, and thought of a name on the way. All of us wrote down like 10 names on a piece of paper, and then we sent the paper back around, and people crossed off names that they didn't like and stuff. And there was only two left, and that was Red Cross and Autograph. And we just decided, let's go with Autograph, because we have kind of a signature sound. It doesn't sound really like anybody else. So let's go with that. And so that's how it happened. If you
had kept with the name Red Cross, you probably would have ended up having to change the name anyhow, with the Red Cross going after you after that.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
So you guys are most known for the for the song "Turn Up the Radio." Is that your favorite song that you guys have done, or no?
I'd have to say maybe All I'm Gonna Take, and that's kind of an obscure song, but I just love that one for some reason. I know. And it's don't know. I think because I love playing it live so much. So I think that has a big reason to do it.
All I'm going to take. Are you guys playing that at all on Friday?
Oh yeah, we're playing it. Yep, you bet. That's in our set list.
Do you still get the chills off playing the songs that you did, back in the '80s and 2017?
I love playing them, and I love the reaction from the audience because they're just so enthusiastic to come out and see us and everything, and it's just a wonderful thing doing this. Like 22, 23 year hiatus, and then Randy and I decided to do it again. We had to obviously replace Steve Lynch, the singer, and everything, and he didn't want to do it anymore, and he's busy doing his other stuff. And then Kenny was in bad health, and he passed away, and Steve Eichmann, the keyboard player, passed away from cancer in 2008. So we had to do some adjustments, but luckily we found Simon Daniels. He's originally from Brazil, great singer, and Mark Whelan, originally from Switzerland, great drummer. And it just, when we got together and we jammed that first time, it was just perfect. I mean, they had the songs down, and we just loved playing together. And now 4 years later, we just absolutely love it even more. I mean, we get tighter as a band, and now we've written together, we've performed so many times, and we've recorded and everything, and so it's just a really nice camaraderie that we have.
So, Steve, back in the '80s, I'm assuming it was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. In 2017, it's what, coffee, Viagra, and naps?
Yeah, exactly. It depends.
Wait, now did you say?
Leave that out.
No, wait, did you say it depends or and depends?
And depends, yes.
No, I bring up the coffee kind of in jest, but you guys have your own coffee brand, the Get Off Your Ass Coffee.
Yes, exactly, and that's another thing you're going to have to meet Depends for. That's because it's going to be a high octane coffee, and we're talking with our label, which is EMP Label Group, and that's owned by Dave Ellison, the bass player from Megadeth. Great guy. And then Tom Hazlitt, the guy that's the A&R guy there, he's a great guy as well, and came up with this concept of, hey, let's do a coffee brand with autograph and call it Get Off Your Ass, like the title of the album. So heck yeah. So it's going very well. Things are kicking into high gear for 2018. I'm really excited about it. Has
the lifestyle, the rock and roll lifestyle, been kind of what you thought it was going to be, or has it been a little bit weird?
You mean as opposed to back in the 80s?
Well, is your life, is Steve Lynch's life today what Steve thought it was going to be when you were back in the Guitar Institute, or back when Autograph first started, or or back in school, or when you picked up your guitar in 1970 when Jimi Hendrix died? I mean, has your life gone the way you thought it was going to go? No, it's gone the way I dreamed it could go. Oh, that's a good answer.
This is like the ultimate way that I thought it could go, and and it's gone just that way. So I think that I've been very blessed and very fortunate to have been able to be doing this, since I started getting serious about guitar back in 1970 when Hendrix died, and I'm really fortunate to still be doing it to this day.
Right. I do talk radio and I do classic rock. So one of the questions that I ask in talk radio all the time is, what's a failure of yours that you've had that you don't mind sharing? And how has it turned your life into what it is today?
What failure have I had?
Yeah, that's turned into a positive.
Oh boy, let's see. Probably not finishing school. What had happened was when I was going, when I was young, back in 1970, I was going into the 8th grade, and when Hendrix died, I just decided, I was going to go over to my friend's place and we were going to play guitar, and that's what I did all day. I never went to school, and so I'm an 8th grade dropout, and my dad kicked me out of the house. And but he gave me the tent that we used to use for camping, and I lived in that for a year. And I ran out an extension cord on a friend of mine's, my friend where I was playing guitar at. He had a lot next door, and I ran out just the tent in there. Ran out an extension cord, had a heater, had a little amplifier, and I was good to go. I just played all the time, and that's all I wanted to do. So I was happy as could be, and it was one of those things where I thought, I should have finished school. I'm an 8th grade dropout and everything. But what I did instead was I read a lot of books, as I still do now. And that at least got me the education that I thought that I should have, you know, and
right.
I was able to study the things that I wanted, like philosophy and stuff. So it made a big difference. But I look back at it and I'm thinking, I'm so glad that I made that decision. You know, I'm not going to say, hey, all you young listeners out there, don't go quit school tomorrow and want to play guitar for the rest of your life. But it worked for me. That's all I can say.
Well, I mean, you look at it this way. You started off homeless. I mean, really, you started off homeless. You lived instead of like Chris Farley down in a van down by the river. You lived in the backyard with an extension cord and a heater, in a tent.
Right, and this was in Seattle, and unfortunately, we didn't have a good winter that year either. It snowed a lot, so I'd have to set my alarm off for every couple of hours to get up and shovel the snow off the top of the tent so it wouldn't cave in. All the spiders moved in with me. But the really cool part about the whole story, the really cool thing is that, my dad, at the end of all this, I was sending him stuff, I was living in L.A., because I went to L.A., years after, playing in a group up in Seattle for a long time, and moved down to LA in '77, and went to the Guitar Institute. I won Student of the Year, and most likely just SEED awards down there, and I sent those to him. I sent him the first gold record, and and I never really talked to him much. I had no idea what he thought about the success or anything, but when I went up years later to finally see him again, he had a whole room in our house that was a shrine to me.
Oh,
and
I
cool. Broke down in tears. I couldn't believe it. I was just like ecstatic, like, wow. He was so proud. He had every article and everything that I'd ever done. I don't know how he found all this stuff, but he was just so proud of what I'd done, being kicked out and quitting school at the age of 15 and doing that with my life. He was extremely proud of me. So I thought that was a really cool thing to witness.
You know why he had all that stuff, Steve? He was your dad. Because dads do that.
Yeah.
Do you have?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have kids?
Yeah. No, don't have kids. Not married.
No. Okay. With the way music.
I've never had time to settle down that long. I was married for a short period, but I was on the road for a year and a half right after we got married, and I didn't know her when I got off the road. It was very awkward. So we ended up getting a divorce, and she's happy, remarried. She's got a couple of grown sons and everything, and so I'm very happy for her. So it just didn't work out. I was just always so busy. Was
it really truly the sex, drugs, and rock and roll in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s?
Yes, all of it's true.
All of it is? Okay. Well, I do try to ask that question of every rock star that I talk with, and I'm like, I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me some story that's going to blow my mind.
Well, I've got one story that we've always thought was pretty hilarious, and that's that when we were playing up in the Northeast, we're playing actually in Providence, Rhode Island, and this is probably 1985, I believe, and yeah, it was 85 because. That's who we were touring with. And we had this girl, she was pounding on the bus door. We're getting ready to leave, go to the next city, and she was pounding on it. And she was beautiful, beautiful girl, and we let her on the bus, everything, and then, we were partying, doing, the usual drinking, doing shots and everything. And we just started noticing this smell, and God, what is that? What is that smell? We kind of looked at each other, and then the bus driver, he had already started driving. He just said, "I'm leaving. We've got it scheduled to meet," and so he just started driving, and he said, "What on earth is that smell?" And we all started laughing. It was her. She smelled so bad. I guess she was homeless or something, but she smelled so bad, he pulled over on the side of the freeway while it was snowing and came and physically took her off the bus. The bus driver did. And we were going, no, just like she was like really, really drunk, and so she was just yelling and screaming and swearing at us and everything. And as we're driving away on the side of the freeway, there she is. Snow's really coming down heavy and everything, and she's flipping an Aerosmith, and so she was playing with Aerosmith. And she thought she was on the bus with Aerosmith, and we just thought, that's great. And then the next night, I told Steven Tyler about that and Joe Perry, and they just busted up laughing. They said, "You're kidding? She thought that you guys were us?" And I go, "Yeah, she thought she was on the tour bus with Aerosmith." And so she's all mad at you guys now, by the way. So.
That's actually a really good story. So when it comes to bands nowadays, they're not putting out albums per se as you guys used to, with 10 songs or whatever. It's one song and they're throwing it up online. You think that's a better model than doing things back in the old ways, or do you think those ways really? You don't really see albums as much nowadays. It's more singles are coming out, and they're more being pushed online rather than somebody coming out with a piece of vinyl or a CD or something.
Yeah, you see a lot of downloadable singles. I see what you're saying, but we like to see the full album released on CD. We have ours on acetate as well, on vinyl. And we've got this psychedelic looking blue, design on it that's really cool on the vinyl itself. And we got the full album. And you know what? With the gig that we just played last night, yesterday we were in Los Angeles. We played a gig. The albums that we had with us, the full size albums, they sold out so quick. Everybody wants those now. And I was just talking to the drummer earlier today, and he was reading this column that albums now are selling as well as they did back in the 80s.
Really?
The full-size albums. And he said that it's made such a huge comeback. And now Sony has opened up two more factories, I should say, to just to print albums. And he said that they're doing it all over the place now. So that might be a good investment invest in vinyl pressing, because it's becoming such a big thing now. People are going out and buying the turntables again, and they're doing that because of the warmth, the analog warmth of the way that the album sounds and everything. It's just the compression that they use. It can't be matched. It never has been matched digitally, and so. It's making a huge comeback. I was surprised to hear that this morning.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked to hear that as well. So, Steve, why is the new album called Get Off Your Ass?
I was having one of those days where I was just like kind of lackadaisical, and I was sitting on the couch watching news, drinking coffee, and I was looking at my list of things that I had to get done that day, and I just thought, I got to get off my ass. I got to get these things done. And It just kind of went, wow, that's so that says so much, because I look at today like a lot of the younger generation with the video games and everything, and not really getting out and enjoying life as much. They're kind of just either on computer or on cell phone or on computer or video games, and I thought this is be a good message for the younger generation as well. But just when people are just kind of being lackadaisical and not really putting a lot of effort into their life, this is a good song to light some fire under them. And then I started thinking about sports teams when they're lagging behind or something. I thought this would be a cool thing to play in a stadium or something when their football team is not doing really well. It's like, get off your ass, and get things done. And so it's a motivational thing all the way around. And I think that's where the song can really influence people. So I thought this is a great name, and I called up the rest of the guys. I said, "Hey, how about this name for the album?" Everybody's going on TV all the time. It's okay.
Right?
It's a donkey. It's a donkey. It's a mule. Don't worry about it. So okay, well. So we did, and I'm really glad that we went with that choice.
How do people reach out and connect with Autograph?
Well, they can do that on Facebook, our Autograph Facebook site, and anybody's free to sign up anytime they want, and be a part of it. And also at autographband.com. And that's the way it is on our Facebook site, too. It's Autograph Band, and with Instagram and with Twitter and all the social media. So they can go check us out and they get a hold of us. And, and you can always look at our tour schedule there also and see, what cities we're going to be at and when and everything. So it makes it very easily accessible to find out what we're doing.
Autograph going to be playing this Friday at the Brick House. Tickets are available ahead of time for $10 at the gate, $15. Great price to see a band that you grew up listening to. Turn it up the radio. Autograph.
Get off your ass and turn up the radio. That's right. Get off your ass and turn up the radio.